What's up, guys? How are you all doing? How's your Sunday going? Did you guys see how we pumped on XRP from these lows over here? It's looking pretty good. Up about 30% from this low. Okay, so now looking at XRP over here, it looks like it's starting its impulsive move up from the lows. In the Discord, we perfectly called this low, like right as it was happening, and it had its first leg in a impulsive manner, came down in an ABC correction. Now it looks like we're starting the next legs to the upside. Now, what I'm thinking here is we come down just for a little subwave 4, maybe to around 268. But this can also be invalidated and just continue on higher. Regardless of if it keeps going higher and if it goes down now, it does look like this is the breakout here. Right? This is the macro count. So notice how we have an ABC within each of the waves here. That's what it looks like. So a nice WXY correction. You sweep the range highs, sweep the range lows, and then within this larger range, you have your Wyckoff schematic. Okay? So let's see where this breaks to on XRP. It either breaks down like this, where you have a C wave down, or a flush, or you just continue on higher out of this pennant right here. So we'll see how it plays out, but looks pretty good so far. We did bottom perfectly at this 786 at around that $1.99 to $2 region, and it looks like we are going in for that impulsive move to the upside. Now, I was looking at Flare today. Let me see here. What's up, guys? Hope all is well. There's static in the mic, or let me see. Is there still static? Can you guys hear me clearly? Okay, I moved the wires away. Let me see if that helps. Alright, nice. Cool. I was looking at Flare just yesterday, and looks pretty good. So going back to November, we have a 5-wave move up here, and then you have your A, B, C down. And I noticed that we have 5 waves down here within this C wave, right? We have a 5-wave move down here. So there's a reason why I put this red box on the chart. It's mainly just to show that you're going to see chop within this region before we have that push to the upside. Bullish invalidation would be to see a daily close below 0.0149. But yeah, looks pretty good. Because it looks like we haven't finished our third wave yet, right? Going to October, We had a 5-wave move up for your wave 1 or A. Then you had an ABC correction for your wave 2 or B. And now it looks like we're gonna do our wave 3 of 3. But before we have this explosive wave 3 of 3, which will likely be one of the largest waves, or the largest waves within Flare's structure, there's gonna be chop here within this region. Okay, so within this region here, we're likely to see the price chop up and down before it continues on higher and bottoms out. As you guys can see, we did hit the 78.6% fib. Now I found this by taking a fib from this low here up to this high, and you see how we came down to the 786. But yeah, Flare looks pretty good. Okay, let me see. This mic is messed up here. Let me see here. Let me just take this mic out, see if it's better. Okay, is the mic better now? You guys can hear me talk without it. Maybe it'll be better. Alright, nice. Cool. Yeah, so let's take a look at ETH. Very important chart to watch. I believe we charted it in the last stream, and I did say that we bottomed off of this the lower band of this modified shift pitchfork, and now you see how we're finding resistance at this band on the shift pitchfork. So yeah, you may see some chop here. These are all your fibs right here. So you may come down to here before continuing on higher. But yeah, it does look like a ABC correction on ETH. You see how it corrects sideways here? Like it looks like a rectangle almost. This actually reminds me of Bitcoin back in 2023. You see how it corrected in a rectangular formation? Like right over here it did a double top, and then it kind of did a double bottom here and then blasted off. So I think the same thing is going to happen with ETH. This is ETH. So I do think that 35.41 gets hit at the 78.6% fib. As long as these lows hold here, then I don't see a reason why we shouldn't make a move to this 786 at 35.41. Okay. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Really important chart to be watching right now. Okay, yeah. Bitcoin. So this is Bitcoin dominance inverted chart. Okay. This is an ending diagonal right here. And then you have what's called a throw over of the diagonal. So this is your throw over. Just like that. You see how well we use this diagonal as support on the 2-week time frame? But then all of a sudden you have a deviation. You have a deviation below the support, and then a aggressive retraction back into the wedge. Not only that, but you also have a bullish pin bar on the 2-week, a bullish hammer on the monthly. So you're likely to see a nice push towards 44.35%, which would be this monthly fair value gap or this weekly inversion fair value gap. So yeah, I think alts are really gonna take off, and simply because this is what we see on Bitcoin dominance. Okay, and then this is your ending diagonal right here. See, we have a perfect 5 waves here. Looks completed. And then this would be your A wave, B wave, and then you have your C wave right here. Okay. Now, to add some confluence to our bearish bias on Bitcoin dominance, we can pull out the RSI over here. And like I say in my previous videos, whenever you spot an ending diagonal in which the waves overlap, it's going to be very hard to get an entry. But something that'll allow you to get good entries in diagonals is to look for divergence on the indicator. And in this case, we spot triple negative divergence, right? Usually when you have divergence on the indicator, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the inflection point. What you'd mainly want to look for is triple negative divergence. So you'd want to look for 3 lower highs on the RSI and 3 higher highs in the diagonal for confirmation of the reversal. And we have that here so far on the weekly time frame. Okay, you have 3 lower highs here on the RSI, but 3 higher highs on the price. So it looks good. Okay. Can you please update Flare, brother? For sure. We can take a look at Flare. What's up, Slim? Hope all is well, bro. Yeah, I took a look at Flare. We'll take a look at Phil or Filecoin. I believe someone wanted to see that. We'll take a look at XDC. All right. So do you guys like this black chart better, or do you like this chart better? Let me show you. Which chart do you guys like better, the black or the white one? API 3, we'll take a look at API 3, no problem, for sure. Yeah, everyone, not, okay, yeah. All right, we'll take a look at the black chart. Now, I have a lot of my coins on the white chart, So I'll just try to, like, we'll go back and forth here. No worries. Before we take a look at some of the coin requests, I want to look at Bitcoin here. Now, I knew that when we came back to that 200-day moving average, it was very obvious that it was just deviation below it, right? This was just simply deviation below the 200-day moving average for this wave 4. Now, I'm thinking we come down to the retracements just by a hair, like come down to these retracements before we continue up with this wave 5. Now, going all the way back to the low of 2023, I'll walk you guys through this wave count here. This was the start of your wave 1 in November 2022. Okay, then you had sideways accumulation or Wyckoff reaccumulation for your wave 2. Then you have your third wave to the upside with a wave 5 extension going up to 72K, a 7-month-long correction in a bullish descending broadening wedge pattern right over here. And then in September 2024, that's when we start our wave 3 of 5 to the upside. Okay. Now this correction here from December 2024 to the current date, it just looks like an ABC correction down with deviation below the 200-day moving average. Now we'll continue to monitor this and see how it plays out. But what I would be expecting is one more push to the upside here. Now, when we get this push, it'll likely take us to around 116K to around 120, 127K. And in doing so, it's likely that Bitcoin will distribute into a new all-time high while alts go ballistic, which can be seen on Bitcoin dominance. So I think that Bitcoin makes one more push up, but in doing so, like with this push over here, Bitcoin dominance tanks, right? So even though Bitcoin is gaining a little strength here, I still think that more of the strength or more of the market will be starting to concentrate on altcoins. So yeah, I think Bitcoin still needs one more push up. As long as we hold this 200-day, which we are doing really well. So okay, so this is XRP, still looking good on XRP. So I believe in the last live stream we did, XRP was like right over here or right over here. And I said that we still needed one more push down to around the 786 at $1.99 to $2. And now we see this explosive push up. So it's looking okay so far. Okay, so it's either that this ABC is done here, like that, and this was a sub-wave 4. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that this is a wave 1, 2, this is your third, your fourth, and we still need to have a wave 5 of 3. Or the wave 5 of 3 is in over here, and we're coming down for an ABC correction to any of these fibs before we continue on higher. Now, don't forget that this is the small time frame. So these 5 waves that we see over here, this is likely a wave 1. It's likely it's still within your wave 1 of your macro wave 5 to the upside. Of your macro wave 5 of 5 to the upside. Okay? So, right, I'll show you this. This was your wave 4. This was your macro wave 4, and now we're working on our 5 to the upside. This is your wave 1 of 5, your wave 2 of 5, and now we're doing our wave 3 of 5. And within that wave 3 of 5, it looks like we're doing a wave 1, right? So there's many waves within waves. It can get very complicated if you're not if you're very new to Elliott Wave, it can get very complicated, but I'll try to break it down as simple as possible. But yeah, trending up, everything's trending up. Let's take a look at Cake. Before we take a look at Cake, let's take a look at BNB. Okay, so this is BNB over here. Now, I made a chart here on BNB. Let me see where I put it. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is the BNB chart that I made. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Came down to the 786. You see how it flushed down to the 786, and we can consider this deviation below the 200-day. But it would need to get back above this 200-day to confirm our bullish bias. There's also this chart that I've been watching. Let me just try to find it here. Yeah, so this looks like a leading diagonal. So we'll see how it plays out. Okay, so this is Cake over here. It may come down lower to finish up this correction. But yeah, this is Cake. It's just finishing up the correction here. Okay. Looks pretty good. Looks good so far. Okay, and If it were to come down lower, Fibonacci levels would look like this. Yeah, so this is what I'm thinking here. This is a little bit of a long and drawn out wave 2. So it's likely we're going to have a little bit, it's likely we're going to have a very simple wave 4. Okay. Now actually, incentive token front run the market. And yeah, it front run the market in breaking out of its accumulation range. This is what I'm thinking. I think it goes to around 10 to 12 bucks. Comes down to back test this accumulation range as support, and then continues on higher toward 19. But yeah, we need to keep monitoring these waves, see how everything plays out. But it's looking okay so far. We can even take a trend-based fib to this, like that, to get the pivot points. PulseX. That's for the black charts. Thanks, Mina. Appreciate it. Yeah, I do see XRP at 13. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sultan. We'll take a look at PulseX for sure. All right, let's take a look at PulseX. So look at PulseX here, guys. It came back up to the retracement levels, and it had no daily close below the 88.6% fib here. So there is a highly likely chance that PulseX has bottomed. But in order to fully confirm that it's bottomed, I would want to see a move above 405046 at the 78.6% fib. Now, to find these resistance levels, all I did was I took a fib from this high over here back in December down to this low around the end of December. So you see how we thought that this would be an ABC correction, and then we would come down to make a new low below this December 21st low. But let's not forget that whenever you have a macro pennant or a macro triangle, the E wave tends to terminate, the E wave tends to be shallow, and it doesn't go the full way. Like, it doesn't go this full way down. It tends to be very shallow because you have a lot of people going max short. You have a lot of people going max short here, max short over here, right? There's so many people shorting this last leg. But now we see price coming back up to the retracements. So it makes me think that the low is in over here. Okay, so now all we would need to see is a move above this 78.6% fib. And yeah, we'd be off to the races here on PulseX, because you'd be breaking out of a 660-day long range. Now, when we look at the volume footprint, you guys see we're above the point of control here. Okay, so very, very bullish. Let's take a look at incentive token. So now I believe we did call the bottom on incentive in the Discord. Okay, yeah, so I did say when incentive token was right here, I put this red line on the chart and it just popped off, and I knew it was going to pop off because it came down to the, simply because it just came down to the 78.6% fib. You see how it came down to the 702.786? And like I say in my videos, whenever price comes down to this region, you're likely to see a really nice reversal. Now, looking at the wave count here on incentive token, going down to the 30-minute time frame, this looks like a wave 1, a wave 2. You have your third wave to the upside. And we're just doing this ABC correction before we have this wave 5 higher. That's what it looks like. So you're likely to see chop around this region over here. Okay. And then, yeah, likely to see chop before we continue on higher. But like I said in the last live stream, this looks like a wave 1 from February 6th to February 11th. And then this is your wave 2. And now we're starting our wave 3 to the upside. Within this wave 3 to the upside, it looks like we're still within our wave 1. Okay, so still have a lot of more upside to be seen. And notice how we swept both sides of this reaccumulation range. We swept both sides of the reaccumulation range. You get a push back up to the range highs, a check back with deviation below the 200-day. And now we're seeing continuation higher. Now, looking at incentive token on the DEX screener chart, I'll show you guys the Fibonacci retracement levels. Yeah, see, I drew this out before we had this pump, but yeah, these are the retracement levels right here. Okay, on the 15-minute, these are the retracements here. Okay. Looks like a wave 1, 2, 3. Now we're doing a wave 4 before we continue higher. Invalidation is 4-hour close below this low, below this level at 227. But it looks good so far. PulseX incentive token, PLS also looks good. Whole ecosystem is gearing up for a nice move to the upside. We also have some great fundamental news as well. SEC case dismissed. So everything is looking good for the ecosystem. Everything is healthy. This is the DXY over here. So we'll take a look at the DXY. Before I take a look at it, let me just pop up this chat here. Peanut, for sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Jose. And Electric Thor, appreciate that. We'll take a look at IOTA. Okay. All right, let's take a look at IOTA here. So it looks like IOTA popped off over here, right? We had a 5-wave move to the upside and then an ABC correction down. Okay, so you may see chop around this region before we continue on higher. Okay, you may see chop within this region here before we see that nice push up. Okay, now this looks like an ABC correction. This is your A, your B, and then this is your C wave right here. Okay, so it looks like you have a 3-wave move down, a 3-wave move up, and then a 5-wave move to the downside. Okay, so your ABC correction is done, and it also looks a lot like SUI as well. So we'll take a look at SUI. I have my eyes on this coin actually. It's called SIA coin. Looks a lot like XRP. One of the members actually requested it. He noticed that it looked like XRP before it blasted off. We'll dive into that coin as well, but I just want to show you the similarities of IOTA and SUI over here. Okay, so you come from the bear market, then you have a high right over here. Here's your high. Then you come down for a deep retracement. And then if we look a little closer on SUI, you break the high, so you have a break of structure, a move down to the retracements before we make our really nice move to the upside. And yeah, we see the same thing here on IOTA. Sweep of the high, move down to the retracement, and in this case we came down to the 88.6% fib before we see that push up. Okay, now in order for this idea to be validated, I would not want to see price go any lower than the 88.6% fib at 16 cent. I don't want to see price go below this level here, because then you'd be deviating too low. You'd be deviating too much below the 200-day moving average. Let's take a look at. So that's IOTA. IOTA is bullish. This just looks like an ABC correction, and we're gonna start our wave 3 to the upside. But this low needs to hold. We'll take a look at Peanut over here. One of my members requested it. So, yeah. Let me just try to find the chart with the most history here. Maybe MEXC. Yeah, there we go. So this is MEXC Peanut chart. Looks bullish. We're above the 4-hour EMAs over here. You see how it's kind of like curling up off of these EMAs? And then you're also using this as structural support. Okay, your nice little Wyckoff range going on here. So we'll see how these fibs hold here. This looks like it could be a wave 1. You have your wave 2, your wave 3, 4, and then 5. Right? Let's go down to the hourly time frame. Just check this out. Check out all the waves here. Now, whenever you have the start of an impulse, you sometimes may see slight overlapping waves, right? They tend to overlap in the form of a wick, but if it overlaps too much, then it would be an invalidation. But you see how this wave 4 kind of overlaps this wave 1, and you tend to see that before massive swings in the market. Like you tend to see congestion and then an explosive wave 5. So this could be, yeah, so this is your wave 1 here. This is your ABC correction. Down for your wave 2. And then it looks like we're missing a 5th wave here. Okay, there you go. And then what you can also do is take a trend-based fib from the bottom of this wave 1 to the top of the wave 1 and down to the bottom of this wave 2. Let me see here. Yeah, so this lines up. This lines up really good. Okay, right around here. Okay, then you have these retracements that you need to watch out for, because don't forget, this wave 4, if we rejected any of these retracements, this wave 4 may not be in yet. It could be an A, a B, and then a C wave like that. Like this, right? So we'll put this black, we'll make this black just to show that it's an alternate scenario right here. Okay, and then okay, then we would come down for a wave 4. Now remember, this is just a this is just an estimated trajectory. Okay. Now, what you can do to see where this wave 5 will pivot at is you can use your trend-based fib, but you can also use your regular fib from the all-time high down to the low. And you see how on the log scale, the 50%, this 38.2% fib, it perfectly lines up with where we have this wave 3 pivot at. So that's how you can find confluence, is to use fibs in different ways, and the price tends to hit it. Okay, looks pretty good so far. There you go. There's your peanut analysis. Now this could be an ABC up, like this is your A wave, your B wave, and then you have a C wave like that, right? So that's something you need to be cautious about for peanut, because this is either, like from the top, this is either an ABC down, and then we have an impulsive move up in which price goes beyond this 50% fib, or this is a 5-wave move down from the top, and this is just an ABC for your wave 2. So that's something you have to be very careful about, for sure. But yeah, that's peanut. Does Doge have any hope? Please help. Yes, Doge. Yes, Doge is still bullish. Let's take a look at let's go back to XRP here. Let me just see here. Okay, so IOTA I did, Peanut I did, and thank you for that. Okay, let's take a look at XRP again. See how how this is progressing here. Okay, so it's still within a pennant over here, right? So like I said on XRP, we either push up from this pennant and continue on higher for a wave 5 of 3, right? Or our wave 5 of 3 is in and we come down for an ABC toward any of these retracements before we continue on higher. Now, be very careful because this is the small time frame, so price can change, the charts can change very quick. So this is the small time frame. So what I mean is this could be a wave 1, a wave 2, your 3rd, 4th, and then you have a 5th wave like that, or a 5th wave up here, and then you would come down. Or it's already in, and then we come down now, just by a little bit. But yeah, we've been tracking this range for a while now, since the beginning of February. I want to show you guys this chart here. And we actually called the bottom there on my Discord, because we said that this was your ST in phase B. Okay, now this is looking at the charts from a Wyckoff perspective, and you see how we came down to this 786. Now, like I say in my previous videos, what you tend to notice in the market, so this is what you tend to see in the market. I'll show you. So you have price like this, it comes down to the 702, and then a lot of people think it's done over here because it had such an aggressive move down, and you may even see 5 waves be put in over here, or a perfect ABC down to the 702. You see a retracement maybe 23.6 to 38.2% of the way, and then you see one last slam down to the 786, and then a sweep of this low. And then once price retracts back to the low that was set on the 702, then you would take the long with stops below the 786, or like just a little bit below the 786 for the anticipation of that breakout. So that's what I noticed in the market. It comes down to the 702. Everyone thinks it's the low, has one more retrace before a slam down to the 786, and then continuation higher. You see, we saw that over here. 702, ABC up, one more slam down to the 786, and blast off. Okay? But yeah, this was your ST in phase B. Let's take a look at QNT. We can't forget about QNT. We take a look at it in every stream. Let's take a look here. Yeah, so QNT is moving along pretty well. Let's take a look at it on this black chart over here. Okay, so QNT is still holding the 200-day moving average here. This looks like a completed ABC correction. This right here. Did you guys see that? And look where we also came down to. We came down to this 702. Now, if we do have a flush, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if we do have that flush, you may see something like this, and then a nice pop off. But this would just be considered deviation. My bias is not leaning towards this flush happening. My bias is more so just chop within this region. Within this region right here. But the fact that it's holding this 200-day moving average this well shows me everything I need to know. Okay? Yeah, so these are the two trajectories that I outlined, right? Either we see the push up here, or we come down just a little bit more to sweep this low here at 83.7. And then we see a nice pop off from there. Notice how well it's holding this structural support. Used it as resistance 3 times. And now we're using it as support. You see this red region over here? Okay, looking on the daily time frame, QNT is still looking healthy. All it did was have a check back down to these range lows as support. And I drew a diagram here on QNT, for QNT, and just to show you guys exactly what it's doing from a technical point of view. Okay. Like that. This guy, so funny. Fartcoin, my god. All right, let's take a look at let's take a look at it for like 2 seconds and just see what it's doing. I don't want to spend too much time on this coin. Okay. It's at 33 cents. Let me just check here on Dex Screener. Okay. Okay, so Fartcoin has hit the 786 here. So there is a bullish scenario for this coin. Okay, the bullish scenario would be that this is an ABC correction right over here where you have a three wave move down in your A, 3-wave move up in your B, and then a 5-wave move to the downside within your C wave. Okay, that would be the bullish scenario. And we make one more high, or we distribute into a new all-time high before it comes down like this. So this would be your ABC down for your A wave. You have another ABC up for your B wave, and then a 5-wave move down for your C wave. A very aggressive 5-wave move down. But in order for this scenario to play out, you need to see 26 cent hold on the, you need to see this level hold. Otherwise, this bullish scenario will be invalidated, and instead of this being an ABC correction, it'll just be a 5-wave move down. Now, looking here at this coin on the weekly, we do have a bullish pin bar here, so that's something to be mindful of. And this was the open. The bullish pin bar on the weekly, its open was the same as the close, the same price as the close on the week before. So you see the close was here on this week, but the open was over here on the following week. So we'll see how this line holds here. You may get wicks below that line, but I'm thinking we do see a little bit of a relief rally. If not, then one more high towards, let me see here. So if this is the low at 26 cent, then it would likely come to the 1.236, 1.382 extension right around here at 326 to 361. So this is your A, your B, and then you have a massive C wave down. If this low holds, this low must hold. So that's Fartcoin. So yeah, QNT, it's still holding the 200-day moving average, and we just see chop over here. Like looking here on the 30 minute, this looks like a WXY correction. So you have your W, X, and then your Y wave. And this could be a wave 1. This is your wave 2. You come down chopping, and then you come up for your wave 3. But in layman's terms, it's just going to be chop and grind before higher. It's actually it's really good. It's really good news on QNT that it's holding this 200-day. A lot of coins went below the 200-day, but QNT held. Something to be mindful of. So this guy is asking, can XRP go down to 250 again? Now, I'm guessing you're in a futures trade because you're... Yeah, we'll take a look at Floki. We'll take a look at Doge, KDA, Vchain for sure. And XDC. All right, so there's XRP coming down for the wave 4. So yeah, to answer your question, it could come down to 250 again, because that would be the 702. That would be the 618 measured from this low on March 1st up to the local high. So if this could be a very deep wave 4 pullback, don't forget that. So yeah, it could come down to 250 to answer your question. NASDAQ for sure, we can take a look. Before we take a look at NASDAQ, now I actually think that NASDAQ and ES has one more push up. But before we dive into that, let's just take a look at KDA. All right, so this is KDA. And now I was showing in my last live stream, this type of market, this type of price action, it occurs in all markets, right? You have your move up to the range highs, and then you have an ABC correction with the C wave slamming back down to the lows. Notice how fast this slam is, but how slow it takes to find a pivot point in the rest of the range. So you see the rest of the price, it moves very slow in the rest of the range and very choppy. But then you have this sudden move back down to the lows, a slam. Like this would be your spring, and then your second test before you have expansion. And we see the exact same thing on KDA. Notice how you have a slam back down to the lows here. Take a look at it on this chart over here. It'll be a little bit cleaner. Yeah, so this is KDA. Now, dropping down to the 30-minute time frame, you see how it took out your internal range liquidity over here, down to the 786, but we never took out this external range liquidity. So it would be expecting a move above 0.63. You may see chop within this region here. You may see chop within this region. Okay. But then a move to take out this external range liquidity back up to at least the 200-day moving average at 73 cents. So this was your, and so now looking at this on the daily time frame, you see how we came down below this diagonal support, and now we're just consolidating here. We've actually been consolidating under this diagonal support for about almost a month. So 28 days of consolidation under this diagonal. And this looks like a short squeeze waiting to happen. because whenever you have diagonal support like this, and then you move below it and then consolidate under it, you can kind of consider it like a ball underwater. Now, worst case scenario is we make a new low here, like this. We make a new low and then form divergence on the indicator, and then we see an aggressive pop up. But this is, now we can take a look towards Cake, for example, for an example of a move like this. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so you see how it did the same thing right here. See, move below the diagonal and then a pop to the upside. H bar did the same thing as well before it blasted off. You can find these all throughout crypto, these deviation below psychological support. See, deviation below this horizontal support and then blast off. It can even be seen on the high time frame as well. Diagonal support, consolidation under diagonal support, and then blast off. Okay? So that's what I'm expecting here for KDA. Just consolidation here before we see the next leg higher. But yeah, looks pretty good so far, KDA. Let's take a look at NQ, E-mini NASDAQ, and you know, something I've noticed here on the NASDAQ is that it looks a lot like ETH. And look where we also came down to on the daily time frame. We came down to the 200-day moving average here. Or we came just shy of it. The structure looks a lot like ETH. You have an ABC correction down, ABC correction up, and then a 5-way move to the downside. So it looks like a classic flat pattern. And we did come down to the golden pocket when we use our trend-based fib. Okay, so we'll see how this plays out on NASDAQ. What I would mainly want to be seeing here going forward is a move above these hourly exponential moving averages here. For confirmation of this low. But I really like how he swept this range low here. I really like seeing that. But we never swept the range high. So I expect price to come back up to take out this equal high buy side liquidity. It already took out your sell side liquidity over here. Now it just needs to come to take out your buy side. Invalidation would be to see weekly close below the 200-day. Okay, so that's NASDAQ. ES is the same thing. This is ES. Just Wyckoff. There's your Wyckoff range right here. So in order for this scenario to play out, I would need to see the 88.6% fib hold. So we'll see what happens on Monday. See how the markets move. DXY looking good. Came up to our subwave 2 of 3 target, and now we're seeing a retrace. Right? This is the 4-hour time frame on the DXY. Wave 1, ABC up for your wave 2, leading diagonal for your wave 1 of 3, come up in an ABC for your wave 2 of 3 before we see another push down here. And that would also coincide with the analysis on ES and NQ, right? Because a bearish DXY means bullish risk assets. Now, I still do think that DXY is in Wyckoff redistribution. If you want an example of what it looks like, I'll show you here. Here's an example of redistribution. So these are the two schematics here. Do you guys see that? How you start from the highs, you make a impulsive move down, and then you kind of have a pause in the market in a rectangular range, and it kind of looks like a check mark, right? Like this is your check mark, and then you have deviation above the range highs before continuing on with the trend. And it looks like we see that with the DXY right here. See, this is your deviation. So I don't think, now as much as you guys see these doom and gloom posts on Twitter about the economy, about how the economy is going to crash, yeah, the crash is inevitable, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the crash is going to happen right now. Always remember that. Whenever you see like those fear posts, it doesn't mean that they're not truthful. It just it just doesn't necessarily have to happen right away, right? But yeah, DXY looks pretty good. Bearish. I would like to see a move back below these lows here on the DXY. Look at this nice bullish candle here on the daily for XRP. Even the weekly looks so bullish. Like, look at these wicks here. Right off of right off the 20 EMA. We're missing a fifth wave here. This is your W, your X, and then your Y wave. See how we're missing a fifth wave? Where's our fifth? We still need to have this fifth wave up here. But yeah. Thanks, Santos. Appreciate it, bro. How soon do you think $11 cake? Maybe March, April? Okay, let's take a look at Floki. I know this guy has been asking for Floki for a while. ACH for a second, sure. Let me see here. Yeah, NASDAQ. So we covered NASDAQ. And we have a really good shot at a bottom on NASDAQ. Yeah, ATOM is bullish for sure. It is. Let's take a look at Floki. I don't know, this chart kind of looks a little suspect. Let me see here. We have equal highs here, so that's a good thing, right? You know, if Floki loses this trendline support, it's going to be very hard to make a bullish case for Floki, but it's holding so far. So there is a positive scenario to be outlined. It's also below the 200-day moving average, something to be mindful of. Okay. So now the bullish scenario would be that this is a B and then a C wave, and then we have one more push up like that, right? But if you lose this trendline support, it's going to be pretty hard to make a bullish case on Floki. Okay, we are on the 50% fib here. When you take a fib from your September 2023 low up to this high, you see how we're on the 50% fib here? Yeah, we'll have to see more price action play out. I'll set alerts here. A, B, C. Yeah, I'm gonna set an alert here so I can update you guys. Okay. Yeah, so this is the DXY. Looks good here on the small time frame. Everything's playing out well. Let's take a look at ACH for a quick second, see how that's doing. I'm just trying to find where I put my that chart. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, this is what I think for ACH. This is a Wyckoff reaccumulation range. And we're holding the, let me see here. We're holding this value area low here. Be very careful taking futures trades on ACH because the wicks are deadly. Like looking at the wicks here on ACH, this wick alone is just like 13%. So be super careful with your leverage on this coin. But I think these equal highs get taken out. We do see a little wick over here, but I wouldn't consider that sufficient enough to be considered a sweep. But yeah, as long as these lows hold, then bullish on Alchemy. Okay. Let's take a look at Doge. Yeah, Doge is looking okay. For Doge, I want to see two things. I want to see a move above this 200-day moving average. And then a move above this 702, 786. But once you start getting daily closures above the 200-day, then it's likely the correction is done. This is your A, B, and then your C wave. Okay. You know, you see Dogecoin is it's still holding support, and it's still above its accumulation range. So this is ascending accumulation. Okay. So you guys see this? Schematics of accumulation. So this is all Wyckoff, but it manifests into different patterns. So if we look over here, you see how it accumulates upwards? It's accumulating upwards here. So this is the same thing for Doge. It's just been accumulating upwards. So either we come back down to the 786 at around 15 cent, or the low is in over here at the 702 and we get back above the 200-day moving average. Okay, so as long as these lows hold and then we get back above the 200-day, then we should be headed for our next target on Doge, sitting around 90 cent to $1.17. This is the weekly time frame. As you guys can see, we're missing a fifth wave here. This is your 1, 2, 3, 4, but we need a wave 5. We're missing it. So this is the inverted chart on Cake. I'm dead. All right, let's take a look at Hey Pip, how's LCX doing? We'll take a look at LCX. Okay. Let's take a quick look at CRO. I know a lot of people are invested into CRO. We'll take a look at LCX. We'll try to take a look at ADA one more time. I did cover it in the last live stream. I believe we called the bottom. But yeah. So yeah, Cronos looks like it's bottomed out. Really like this bullish engulfing here. Really nice push from this bottom call over here. We're up about, let me see. We're up almost 44%. But yeah, this is what I see for CRO. Let's go on the weekly over here. Okay, leading diagonal for your A wave from 2018 up to 2021, ABC down for your B wave. And this looks like it was just reaccumulation for a wave 2. You see this yellow box over here? This just looks like reaccumulation. Invalidation would be weekly close below 0.0671, but we haven't invalidated our bullish scenario. So I still would be expecting a third wave to the upside towards 51 cent, which would be around a 5x towards the 78.6% fib. So around 51 to 77 cent, come down for a little wave 4 before we have our wave 5 to the upside, likely taking out the last all-time high. Now, there's no guarantee that we'll take out the last all-time high, hence why I said to take profit here at the 786 region. But yeah, this is CRO, looking pretty good, up almost 44% since last analysis. I'm dead. All right. So Litecoin is looking pretty good still. Held up extremely well. Three-day time frame is super bullish here. I like how it's above all of these exponential moving averages. Okay, we should see a breakout this month on Litecoin towards. Okay, so I'd be expecting. Let me see here. Would be expecting 332 to get hit and 251. So 251 to 332 is what I would be expecting Litecoin to hit in the month of March. So March, it's likely we hit this level. But yeah, just consolidation here. Looks a lot like TEL. Let's take a look at TEL. So you guys see TEL? Same structure as Litecoin, or reaccumulation structure. You break out, came back down to backtest this region as support, and now we're seeing a continued move to the upside. Super bullish on TEL. We call the bottom perfectly on TEL in the Discord. Taking a look at TEL's macro chart with the black background, we can see that we still have so much room up here, right? There's a lot of room up here that needs to get hit, or you could even say inefficiency, lots of inefficiency up here. And we also backtested the 21-week moving average. See how we came down to this 21 week? We backtested it right here. Boom. Now we have continuation. Let's take a look at ADA. Believe we called the bottom in the last stream. Yeah, so there's ADA. Push off the 200-day moving average, and yep. Okay, it's gonna make its way to 244 next, And then if we go above the all-time high, which is likely we will, we'd be looking at 370 to 524. ADA. Yeah, so this is ADA. We call the bottom here. So as price approaches this trendline resistance here, you'd want to look to ladder out of your position. Now, considering the strength and the velocity in which ADA went up over here, it wouldn't surprise me that things start to wrap up around the month of April. Around the later half of March or in the month of April. But yeah, this is ADA. Looks good so far. Up almost 96% from that bottom call. Okay, pretty good. Yeah, Vchain will take out the all-time high. That's my bias on Vchain. So one guy is asking, how do I see PulseX and PLS now that the SEC dropped case? I don't see it any different. All the technicals remain the same. Super bullish on PulseX and PLS. The only thing that has changed is now I have much more conviction on it now, because there's no fundamental barriers, right? No one can really call it a scam anymore because the SEC case is dropped. No one can really call it a scam. I find it crazy how people call it a scam. No one got scammed by RH. Let's take a look at Kava. See how it's doing. Okay, so Kava held up very well, and like I said, this diagonal support over here, we took it out. So your trendline liquidity was taken out over here. So it would be, as long as these lows hold here at 0.3768, then I would be expecting higher on Kava, like that. That's what you tend to see. Come down like this. You chop, hold the lows, and then you do something like this, right? And your trend line liquidity gets taken out before you revert into the opposing direction. We have the same thing here. So as long as Kava can hold the lows and then maintain position above this 200-day moving average on the daily, then I don't see a reason why we wouldn't have that nice pop up to the upside. Nice power of 3 setup over here. So we'll be expecting a move to $3 to $4. That would also be this weekly inefficiency right here. See this weekly inefficiency? Take a look at the monthly. Yeah, you have this monthly inefficiency right here. Yeah, it's same position. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Okay, guys. So we're gonna take a look at the most important charts, especially the charts that I want you guys to be taking a look at before the next stream. We're gonna end the stream in a bit. We're just gonna cover the most important charts here. Let me just see here. AIOZ. Okay, we'll take a look at AIOZ. We'll take a look at the most important charts and then we'll end the stream. Let's take a look at AIOZ. Looks like reaccumulation. If it's not reaccumulation, then it's distribution. Let me see here. Is this it right here? So yeah, if these lows hold here, I would be expecting a push up like that. But I need these lows to hold. Let's take a look at the Russell 2000. Okay, now Russell 2000, like I said, I think this is simply just deviation below the 200-day moving average, and we should see a nice pop back up. We also notice that this looks like an ABC correction to the downside. You see, this is your A, your B, and then your C wave. You're likely going to see chop within this blue box that I marked out. So this blue box here, you're going to see chop here before we see a rapid rise to take out these highs. You tend to see this in all markets. A move down to the 200-day moving average, it spooks a lot of investors, especially retail investors. A move down to the 200-day, a move below the 200-day moving average would really shake out a lot of people because they think, oh, okay, it's below the 200-day, it's trending down now, let's just sell it all. And then a couple days goes by, maybe half a week, and then all of a sudden you have that short squeeze back above. So that's what I'm expecting here on the Russell 2000. Total 3 is also looking good. It bounced off the lower band of our modified shift pitchfork, came up to our 939 billion target. We perfectly called the bottom here. In the last live stream, I did say we would see a push up from here. And look where we are now. We're right over here. So now what I would be expecting is a little bit of a retrace, but ultimately higher, because this does look like the bottom is in. Okay, these are your Fibonacci retracement levels. Let me just remove these so you guys can see. Okay, these are your retracement levels right here. So you may come down to consolidate a bit before continuing higher. Wave 5 of 5 is not in yet. I think wave 5 of 5 comes to around 1.6 to 1.8 trillion. So I would be expecting a $1 trillion, almost $1 trillion liquidity injection into the altcoin market. That's what I would be expecting. Let's we took a look at NASDAQ. I still see one more push up. ES1, I still see one more push up for your up thrust after distribution. And yeah, USTD dominance as well. We call the top here. You see? Rejection off the 618. So it looks like we still have one more wave to go here, to go down here. This is your full wave count on USTD dominance. See, all we were doing was just having an ABC up to the 618. Now we're below the 200-day moving average. You see that? So now, considering we're below the 200-day moving average on USTD dominance, I would say that is sufficient enough to say the low is in on crypto. Now we just need to see if this daily closes below the 200-day as well, then yeah, that would be sufficient enough to say that this was the low on crypto. But it looks like we still need one more push down here, which will likely be an extension of the fifth wave, which would translate into what's called a blow off top. Okay, so Russell 2000, bullish. It's going to be bullish. I think that the move below the 200-day was just deviation. USTD Dom is bearish. Stock market is bullish. I think there's one more wave up, bearish on the DXY. And we're going to wrap up the stream with XRP here. So yeah, this is XRP. Looking pretty good. We're just letting these waves play out. So I'll make sure to update you guys in the next stream. But if you want to stay updated sooner and more frequently, then click the link in the description below to join the Discord. You guys can get access to over 300 charts and daily XRP analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream today. We'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. Peace out and take it easy. See you in the next one.